Okay, finally doing this Q&A thing. Oh, yeah, I said I was going to mix my champagne and Sprite and Hypnotic, but I didn't have Sprite, but I had ginger ale, and that's almost as good as Sprite, so, but it's a kind of a gross color. Can you see? No. There, it's a gross color, but it's delicious. And I should not be drinking this because I've had absolutely nothing to eat all day, but in my tummy it goes. Mmm. Mmm. Okay, so I wrote down everyone's questions because I could ramble on forever. So I wrote it all down. No, yeah, I don't have a regular pen. I lost all my pens. I am penless, but I have a highlighter. So I've been writing everything in highlighter for the last month. So anyway, okay, what appeals to me about Peter, Sansa, then Jane and Rob, and John and Danny, which is a loaded question. I didn't actually ship Peter or Sansa before I met Lore, but Lore is amazing, and she can make you pretty much ship anything. I mean, like, I sort of shipped it, but I was like, oh, I just want them to, like, kind of fuck and then move on with their lives, and maybe Peter will die later, and Sansa will probably, like, bang Jaime, because, like, really, who wouldn't? But now I'm kind of like, well, they're gonna grow up, and they're gonna live happily and have many fat children, which is unrealistic, but I'm gonna pretend that is a viable future for them because I need to pretend that, and don't tell me I'm wrong. Don't, okay? Just let me learn my lesson on my own. You don't need to correct me. Um, Jane and Rob because I don't know, it's the first real ship I had in that series, just because I'm like, oh, look at this motherfucking idiot. He couldn't keep it in his pants. And then, but Jane was so sweet, and she's all like, oh, I love Rob. I just want to be a good wife, and oh, war, blah, blah, blah. We're going to go to Winterfell and have lots of fat children. And she's actually like me. She learned that the hard way, that's unrealistic. And John and Danny, I ship it because I have just literary feelings. It feels like they're bookends. Like this is Danny and this is John, and they're telling the story that's right here, and then all this shit has happened in the middle. So these two they gotta like come like that. And when they come like that, I'm gonna assume it's sex. So I'm like, well, and then their faces are super hot. So that's a good plan. They should have lots of sex. I'm not saying like get married and have a bunch of kids, because I actually think Danny shouldn't marry anyone. I want Danny on the Iron Throne, but I think she should like be Queen Elizabeth. I think she should just be Elizabeth, like the virgin queen, but not really like, but so like I just want them to bang. Basically, the reason why it appeals to me is because they're both really hot. He has dark curly hair and she's a pretty small blonde woman, so I think they should have lots of sex. And then I'll be satisfied. In fact, if my ships can just have sex a couple of times, I don't need them to end up happily ever after. Because let's be honest, it's George Martin. No one is gonna be happy at the end of this. In fact, if they're alive, I'll be pretty impressed. I think that'll be good. The fact that they're alive. Okay. My Victorian feels, yes, I have quite a bit of those. Quite a bit. I've been reading historical romance novels since back when I was probably shouldn't have been reading them. Let's be honest. I was sneaking them out of my middle school library from the teacher sections. They knew me. I would just go in there and be like, "Oh, look. This looks like I'm yes, I know they're embracing half nakedly on the but I'm half nakedly on the cover, but I'm pursuing this book for literary value. I promise. I am not reading it because I just want to listen, watch, read two attractive people have sex. That's not what I'm after. When in fact, it was what I was after. I don't think they believed me, but they also felt bad for me. So they're like, "Oh, take all the sex books. They're all yours. You're so smart and better than all your other students because you're a 7th grader with a 12th grader reading level. You're so great." Also, yeah, so basically my Victorian feels, I love that. I just love the time period because of the hypocrisy. They're like, oh, your dude, have all the sex you want. Oh, your chick, no, you slut. No, you dirty whore. Just stop, okay? Keep your legs closed. But at the same time, you're like, dude, go have sex. But you're not having sex with another dude who's the only one socially who's allowed to go have sex. There's not a plethora of Victorian gay sex. So, like, who are you having sex with? Like, you don't want that girl over there to have sex, but that dude over there's got to have sex, and so you're not like go bang a dog or something. So I just like the hypocrisy, and of course you have to admit there's something about a man in a suit. There's something about a man with a cravat, and then he takes it off, and there's like that little V of skin, and you're like, I wanna fuck you so hard. I would do you on every flat surface available to me at the moment. Like, you just have to, like, okay, let's be honest. Back then, none of them were probably attractive all that much. Yeah, they probably were actually pretty fucking ugly, but, like, if you read period dramas now, you got, like, Colin Firth and Matthew whatever the fuck his last name is, I don't fucking know, and then there's that dude from Persuasion, and all of them, and Mr. Thornton, who I can't get over how badly I want to be on Mr. Thornton, like, so bad. More than Mr. Darcy. More than anyone ever, pretty much. So I could go on forever about Victorian feels, but I'll continue with something else, which is Jordan's porn, which is also a good segue, because I'm not reading Victorian lit, my historical romances or whatever for the literacy merit. I'm reading it because, dude, sex, lots and lots of sex, which is great. So, Jordan's porn, like, you all don't get to see how awesome Jordan is. Like, she puts shit in my box, and I'm like, oh my god, this says 1. All I need is 1, because it's from Jordan, and it's low-key banging the shit out of Natasha in the best ways possible. It's like, it's not even like, oh, and he took her to manly fashion, because it's like fucking Natasha. So she's like, who run the world? Girls, so shut the fuck up and let me have my orgasm. No, shut up. Just shut up. So, Jordan's axe porn makes my day. I'm just like, oh my god, yes, porn. And yeah, I have issues. I have a ton of issues. But the porn is great. In fact, y'all should just go to Jordan's Xbox right now and be like, Jordan, I hear you have great porn. Why don't you share with the world? And then she should share with the world, and the world would be a far better place. Not just my Xbox. So I think Jordan should still continue to put it in my Xbox first, because I think I should get it first, because I am obviously the leading connoisseur on like written porn, not actual porn, because I watch actual porn and I'm like, I don't buy it. You don't have enough emotions, lady. You're doing this for the paycheck. I kind of want to I want the story. I want to believe you're like, you are so, pizza man, or babysitter, you are so attractive right now. I can't even resist you. I can't. I must take you now. Bang me from behind. I want to believe it, but I never believe it. I'm just like, could you maybe stop looking at the camera? You're ruining the mood. You're ruining. Could you like look longingly into his eyes, maybe? Like him over there, not me. I'm good. Okay, I'm just watching. It's cool. Keep going. Okay. But we have. I could make a category of stuff that's appropriate to talk about and stuff that's not appropriate to talk about right here. But Butts, which is from Brittany. Well, what can I say about Butts that Brittany can't say about Butts? Hasn't said about Butts already. That is perfect. Like, they're Butts. They're like there, and you're like, oh, Butts. I'm gonna take a bite of you because your butt is so attractive. I do. I like big butts, and I cannot lie. My booty is I'm a white girl. I ain't got no booty. So when I see a person with a booty, be man, female, I'm like, you have no idea how lucky you are. If you were a skinny white girl, you would be jealous. So don't complain to me about your big butt, because I will literally cut it off. I will cut it off and be like, well, who's angry now? And you'll be like, I'm in the hospital. I'm pretty fucking angry. I'm like, well, if you hadn't complained about your butt, you would not be in the hospital, and you would not be without a butt. So, yeah, I have violent tendencies. And then Gendry. I've always liked Gendry in the books. I was like, you're a pretty cool dude. I mean, life kind of sucks for you if you think about it. I mean, like, your dad, oh, fuck, my dad. My dad is the king, but he doesn't acknowledge me physically as a person. Fuck my life. But I was like, oh, I kind of just want to adopt you and take you into my bosom and love you and raise you as my own. But then I saw him on the show, and I'm like, oh, that's not going to happen, because then we would have incest. And we learned from the Lannisters that's a bad idea. So we are not going to be related ever, Gendry, because if we met in an alleyway, I would force you behind the dumpster and physically assault you with my vagina. So we will never be related. But I love you. I love you. Actually, I love you sexually. So let's be honest. Sexually, I am attracted to you, especially your actor. Sorry.